Hello, and welcome to the DCIFF Film Chat Podcast. I'm Erin DeVos, and I'll be your host for this season. Join us for insightful interviews that explore the work of up-and-coming independent filmmakers from all over the world. If you're passionate about film and keen to learning about the creative process from the future cinema greats, this podcast is a must-listen for you. Our mission is to provide listeners with the engaging and informative conversations about successful and innovative films, including features, shorts, documentaries, animation, and web series from across the globe. The DCIFF Film Chat Podcast is a unique opportunity for independent filmmakers to have their voices heard in a way no other film festival can provide. You can listen to the DCIFF Film Chat Podcast on all podcast platforms or visit our website at DCIFF-indie.org/DCIFF-podcast. Thank you. Hello, DCIFF Film Chat fans. It's your host, Erin DeVos, here for another episode. In this one, I'm speaking with the filmmaker King Bach, who is the creator of the short series VASECTOMY. And in this hilarious short pilot that was shared at the film festival, it's also a continuation of the series that he is continuing to build into. And so I very enjoyed this conversation. Though it was short, we covered a lot in the sense of how the writer's strike is impacting today in the film industry, and as well as the power of social media and promoting your content as a filmmaker. So without further ado, let's dive in. Thank you again for joining us for the DC Independent Film Forum and for the Film Chat podcast. And so we would love for you to introduce yourself and to tell us about your nominated pilot.
Yeah, so it was a pilot called VASECTOMY, which I was sitting at my house and I was like, I want to shoot something, I want to come up with a show. So I came up with this plot idea, about these roommates that were kind of struggling and needed money. And, I kind of just figured out a way to like try and incorporate some like action in it, some suspense, some thrill, and some comedy. And I just wrote it in I think I wrote it in a day. And then I think I had to write it that fast because the writer's strike was coming up, or the actor strike. One of those strikes was coming up. And I work with my sister, and I told her, I was like, yo, I want to shoot this idea. And then I was like, I don't have a script yet, but I know what locations I want to do. And then so I told her the locations, and she's like, all right, cool, I can get those locations, but I need the script. And she's like, I need it before Monday. And it was like Thursday. So it was like Thursday night. So that night I started writing it, and then I finished it the next day, sent it to her. Then we had to shoot it that following week. So I had to call up my friends and see who could do it. I had some people back out because they were afraid of the actors strike and all of that. So it was kind of like, it was definitely a journey and a process getting it done, but I'm glad we got it done. I'm glad it turned out decent. And I'm glad we got in a film festival.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, no, I had the pleasure of watching it and also being a part of the selection process to, selected to be a part of the film shorts and pilots that we got to watch. So I thought it was very hilarious and also, relevant to even what men are experiencing today, even though I'm not a male myself, but to be able to see kind of like the humor behind it and also just what you guys are experiencing today. So wanted to give you a lot of credit for that.
Oh, thank you.
And I know you're also a comedian and actor. How long have you been in the film industry?
I would say I probably got my start around 2013.
Mhm.
I mean, I've been trying it my whole life, but I think I got like my first acting gig started 2013 or 14, something around there. But it was in that TV show House of Lies with Don Cheadle. I think I did like 4 episodes in that, and then I was in another show called The Mindy Project, and I was in maybe 4 or 5 episodes of that, and it just kept like trickling, and then over the years it started doing movies and started to get bigger and bigger.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Yeah. And are you hoping to expand vasectomy into like a bigger series?
Yeah, I want to. It's expensive, so I would have to find like, some outside sources to get it going because just because the setup that I gave for it was so big, it's a bunch of kids and we got this gang chasing us, we got the cops chasing us, it's all these people, so it's all this action. So so yeah, it's I would love to keep it going, but yeah, it those I have those factors I have to deal with.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, and what would you say like with is the overall theme for the series? I know just watching the pilot, like there's so many different things going on with the different characters. So, in a
Yeah.
synopsis, what would you say?
I would say that, it would be about those three roommates kind of fighting themselves in responsibility through those kids
Hmm.
because we see right now they're just reckless, they're just impulsive. But I think it's more about, them finding themselves and what the real purpose is in life. It's not all about money. There's other ways you can find happiness. And I love the character arcs of the two police officers, which was my friend, played by my friend Anwar and Sydney Castillo. And yeah, I think they have a hilarious arc and a hilarious dynamic. I would love to see that play out. And yeah, it's just yeah, I think there's so much that so much it could go. Alan Maldonado, he played the bus driver. He's got his gang, so it's like there's so many different ways and different subplots that we could go with.
Hmm. Oh, definitely. And even thinking, beyond like the subplots and with what you're thinking into expanding into, and I guess it's a very broad and run on question, but with you in wanting to, get everything in a rush before the writer strikes and such, how do you feel like the industry is changing kind of based on, what that experience was, but also, what it's looking into today, whether it's through I know this is more like a web series, but even thinking beyond with like feature films and such.
Yeah, I think the strike kind of, really did make a big impact. It put a lot of people on halt with their careers and and money and everything like that. So now it's like everybody's starving to work again. Everyone's trying to get back in, whether it be writing a script or acting in a series or anything. People are just wanting to get in because of that halt. So I definitely see that it might get a little difficult because previously back in the day, if you have an idea, you can say, "Hey, I got this idea. Why don't you give a go at it, write it, and then we could see if we sell it?" Because people are making their money doing other things, but writing other projects. But with that big gap, with that big halt in pay for those several months, people can't afford to just write on spec anymore. So I notice a lot of that. It's like, yo, I would love to help you and do this, but I got to pay bills. So
Mhm.
I think there's gonna be like a phase of that until people start, getting back into the flow of things and getting ahead of everything. But until then, yeah, it definitely had a big impact.
Mhm. Oh yeah, for sure. And even thinking like about budgeting and also everyone just trying to get creative in wanting to make that impact, like whether it's through comedy or through documentaries and through the different, avenues that we could go in through film and through web series type of content. So I give you a lot of credit for, wanting to do everything in such quick movement because I know some of the filmmakers that I've talked with, they've been able to, well, they've been able to, but they have also been producing their content for years and to be able to just push through everything, the adversity and what they have done. So it's very inspiring to hear everyone's journey through it.
Thank you.
And how would you, one of the things that I was thinking too through some of the challenges and successes of the film industry is making some of these like web series. And so what is the creative process like to develop a web series or some of the short form content?
For me, it's just I have to see the full kind of either pilot or short film or whatever it is. I have to see the start and the end, and then I figure out the middle. And then after I have all of that, then I start writing, page one. scene one, and then I just go from there.
Mhm.
And if it's like a pilot and they're like, hey, we need 25, 30 pages, I know my goal. So as long as I know my goal, if I know it's a short and I want it to be less than 10 minutes, I know, okay, let me try and get it in 10 pages or less. Like I always, as long as I know my end goal, I can always meet that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And would you say, and this is kind of a twofold question, like what would you be your biggest advice to young filmmakers or those who are just starting out creating their own films or web series?
Yeah, I would say just start shooting, even if it's on your phone. If you don't have a budget, like just shoot it because your first thing isn't gonna be your best. So a lot of people they kind of like they wait for that one big project. It's like the vasectomy thing I've done, you know, it's to me that's probably like my 1,000th piece of content or more. I probably had like 5,000 pieces of content that I created that I've learned along the way. If I had this idea 10 years ago and, I just like, you know, didn't shoot anything until now, till I got the script right, till I got everything perfect, it would have probably came out like my first video I did 10 years ago.
Hmm.
So it's all about taking those steps and just going for it. If you believe in yourself and you believe in your talent, you should be able to say, oh, I got this idea. I can come up with another idea. It's like you should just have fun with the process. Don't take it too serious if you're learning and don't be afraid to learn. Don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to make mistakes.
I love that. And that's such a great piece of advice too, because it also reminds me of like another question too with some filmmakers as, social media like has just been up and coming in especially in the last 10 years, how we're able to self-promote ourselves, being able to put ourselves out there. How do you feel it really translates to not only being able to promote ourselves and out there? Do you think it also establishes confidence in wanting to put yourself out there and the content that you're creating too?
Yeah, definitely. Social media definitely helps. I think when you have people that are supporting the project and they're eager to see it, it makes you more excited to actually create it and make it good and stay in the edit room because you know that people are wanting and waiting to see it. So I think definitely social media is a huge asset in that regard.
Hmm. Oh, definitely. Yeah, because a lot of filmmakers, they've definitely been up and coming with wanting to create like profiles of their own to build up like their own brand and as well as establish something of their like of their selves. So that's awesome to hear. And I'm so glad that we were able to connect today and talk about your short. And so, was there anything else before I dive into my last question? Was there anything that you wanted to share that I may not have asked?
I think we talked about a good portion of it. Yeah, the starting of it, how the strike of it all. Yeah, I think we talked about some good stuff.
Okay, cool. I know we went a little bit everywhere, but you've been so good at keeping it so concise and to the point. So I appreciate it. And how can we follow you along on your journey?
Yeah, social media. It's King Bach, KingBach, across all platforms. Yeah, that's where I'm at.
Sweet. Yeah, no, short and simple. And yeah, no, we'll definitely follow along. I'll be very curious to see more episodes come out for vasectomy. So I really appreciate you and your time today.
Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate you.
This podcast is brought to you by the DCIFF supporters. We could not be here without all of you to be sharing this amazing outlet with filmmakers from around the world. If you are interested in supporting DCIFF, head on over to our website through the link description in the bio of this episode, or you can go right to the website, which is DCIFF-INDIE.org to connect with us and learn more about our Future of Film programs, our festival, and also more educational opportunities in what we do with our high school students, community, and beyond. We look forward to your support.